In 2002, more people in the U.S. were killed by dogs than in shark attacks in the past 100 years. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
It's a fact site. That's where I got it from. Fact site. Hashtag fact site.
Word, hashtag fact site.
All right, welcome on, Joe Box.
Thanks, Nikki. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm alright.
You just had tacos,
I did just have tacos. They were really good. I wish you
but
were
it's
there.
Monday.
It's Taco Monday, bro.
Taco Tuesday.
We don't do it like LeBron.
Yeah, you know, my sister didn't believe that LeBron was like trying to trademark that for himself. She was like, "There's no way."
There was no way he was gonna get it.
No.
It was just like, alright, LeBron. Why not?
No, that's mad funny. But anyway, so the question for today, well, the journal prompt. We're not going to say question. The journal prompt for today. What is your definition of success, and how do you think you'll achieve it? What are your fears of reaching it? So yes, this one I actually made up by myself. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was meditating, and I was just thinking about success, and it came to me like, what do I even think success is? And it's such a broad topic, success.
It's very subjective.
All right, so one more time I'll say it. What is your definition of success, and how do you think you'll achieve it? What are your fears of reaching it? All right, here you go. 1 minute to think about yourself, and then we will start talking. If you don't want to think, you could just skip ahead. All right, so I want to hear your definition of success, because I kind of know mine, I feel like, but I really don't.
Yeah, I don't really know my definition of success, but I would say for anyone in general, it's very subjective. So for me, it's just being happy and doing things that make me feel good, both for myself but also for other people.
Yeah,
I feel
this
great.
dog, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Jeez. My sister and Billy are getting home right now. I guarantee it. My sister's gonna come in and be like, "Oh my god, Jeez."
Jeez.
And then I called her, and I was like, "Yo, I'm doing a podcast with Joe Box. Make sure that you don't come down or make a lot of noise." I told her, "Don't even talk."
She's gonna forget about it.
She's definitely gonna forget
It's all
about
good
it.
though.
And it's all good. Is it really all good
It's
though?
all good, but at the same time, like
Yo,
it
you
could
have
be all good after the podcast.
All right, let's get back into it. Okay, yeah. So what you said, it's all about happiness, which is crazy because that was my first reaction when I thought about it.
I think a lot of it's about happiness. It's also recognizing that there isn't a lot of happiness sometimes.
Yeah.
So succeeding is finding the little happiness within the greater, whether it's good or bad. Honestly.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy to say because a lot of people can't find that little happiness in the little tiny things that happen in their life. Like you make that green light, people are like, "Oh, I should have made that green light." Not like, "Oh, thank God I made that green light."
Yeah, bro.
The way that people think about things is really weird.
And it's crazy how people even think about things like that. Like, if people don't make a green light,
oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, it's like something's wrong with them. I even thought so today. Like, every time it's yellow, I just don't want to sit there. Like, I don't want to sit watching a whole nother cycle of lights.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm the first car.
Bro, it's the worst. That happened to me coming home tonight. I was right behind these cars, and then, you never know where the red light camera is now.
Yeah.
Bro, it's terrible. All right, we're getting off track here. Yeah, so what I was thinking with success, which is Yeah, definitely happiness was the first thing that popped into my head. But after that, I was like, well, what makes me happy? That's really the thing. Like, if happiness is your success, like,
What's
what
making you
what
happy?
is making me happy? And for right now, I actually like my job. I just came back from teaching a class, and I was like really not in the mood to do it. But then once I got started, I was like, oh, this is mad fun right now.
Yeah.
And like I became happier. And once I know that I affect a person's day positively,
Yeah, that's
positively, yeah,
positively, Nikki.
positively.
But yeah, that's exactly it. I think as much as I love making my day better, like making someone else's day better makes my day even better.
Yeah,
On
it's
top
so
of it.
weird. Isn't that so strange? Like last night when you, Dave and Matt were here, and I was like, "Oh, you guys want water?" I was getting like everybody
Yeah.
water. I was like, "Oh, like this makes me happy that I could be a good host to them."
Exactly. like-
Because I know that you guys would do the same to me.
exactly.
So like when you go through that, and then when you finally find happiness in helping other people, that's when your like life changed. Because then you're not selfish.
Yeah, a lot of people are selfish. I think a lot of people are blindly selfish. I think
Yeah.
a lot of what people do that is considered bad, even though I don't really consider it bad, it's just blindness
Mm-hmm.
to like the feeling that you get after being nice or not saying a certain thing that may make someone upset
Mm-hmm.
or saying something that will make someone feel good.
Yeah. No, I definitely I wrote something about I forgot what the question was, but I've been writing journal prompts before this podcast, and I was saying how whenever you think about everything that's going on, like when you have mistakes and everything, what makes you calm about it and say like I could bounce back from this? And I was going really deeply into like how we became human beings. We were very selfish as animals.
Yeah.
Like before we
Even
be even
now, but
yeah.
yes.
but we
course.
were very selfish. So like we came from the monkey community, and the monkey community is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
You ever watch videos? Like you ever go down like a YouTube
Wild monkeys.
yeah, you ever go down like a YouTube video and then 10 videos later you're like, damn it,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done this, but it was well worth it. And you think about it and you're like, damn, this monkey was really selfish towards the other monkeys by only eating the food because it's selfish in a way because it wants to survive.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how animals think. They don't think like, oh, we all are hungry, let's all eat together.
It depends on which animal, because
Mhm.
like, say for like
Like
cats,
a pack.
like
Yeah.
cats, they're not pack hunters really. Like cats are for the most part single, solitary.
Like lions and stuff?
In terms of being like, I guess the main strategy
Mm-hmm.
I would say for lions and tigers, they can fend for themselves, but God forbid there's another big cat. Like two big cats can take on 20 hyenas.
Yeah,
You know,
yo.
like
I was watching a video of that the
like,
other day.
Dogs, like hyenas and wolves, they're pack hunters.
Mm-hmm.
There's 40 of them, and they don't make noise. They just look at each other and they go off of expression, and they're like, "All right, this is what we're gonna do."
Yo, it's
and
so
then
crazy.
they go for it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how we were too. Like we were all packed together,
Yeah, for sure.
but we were still selfish.
I think.
That's so weird,
I
right?
think with the selfishness, it's the awareness of
Mhm.
like.
The
just-
awareness
just-
of death.
Yeah, and like just being aware of like taking the awareness of death and taking it in the wrong sense.
Wow, that's so interesting.
think-
So you think when we became really conscious about ourselves, that's when we became more selfish?
I think that when we became conscious about ourselves, we became more selfish because we were aware that we could be singular if we decide to be singular. And choosing yourself to be singular, you're making another side within itself, and it's the other side.
What do you mean
It's
by singular?
Like just yourself, that's what I really mean. Just really caring only about yourself.
Oh,
And then
instead
from-
of like the whole group.
Yeah, from there it's kind of you versus the other. I got
Mm.
that's really a reference from A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
Was that a book?
Yeah,
Really, really good book. David showed me it.
Uh-huh.
And I think David or Matt showed me it.
Shocking.
Or both of them showed me it. And basically, you have yourself, which is kind of what you perceive as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When your identity, and you identify with your ego, and then the other side of that is the other, which is not you, everything that isn't you. And like when you are selfish, the other is always a factor, and you're always going to play against the other, and you're always going to take.
So when
yourself.
you're selfish, then the other side of you is playing that other, like the devil's advocate.
It's
type of
not
thing?
even the other side of you. What I mean by the other is just like not you.
Oh, you mean like the
yeah,
other?
just like the
human?
other, like
Okay.
in general.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wait 1 sec. You hear that? Okay, so I want to actually bring it to like what people think success is, like what I think other people think success is, because when you're growing up, everyone says like, "Oh, he's really successful," and it's mainly just money. That's really it.
Yeah,
It's just money and
money's a big
things.
factor. Money
Mhm.
and things and success in our society has a lot to do with feeding our ego
Mhm.
with things. That's what the ego attaches to. It attaches to
Yeah.
form. Anything that has form, whether it's your skin, whether it's a book, whether it's a hat, whether it's a TV, a car, a house, a mansion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. So success is crazy because when you listen to other people, they're always saying, you know, do what you love, but that's successful because they're making money. But then you're like, oh, I want to do this, and you're like, well, they say, oh, you can't become successful from that. So it's just like a mind fuck, honestly.
Yeah, I think telling young kids that success has a pure definition
Yeah.
in terms of a situational, like, all right, this is the situation you have to be in to be successful.
Mhm.
Most of that situation is having money, and
Mhm.
people don't realize that having money requires a lot of work.
I think having
And a,
money.
and, a,
yeah.
and a lot of money not only comes with a lot of work, but it comes with a lot of good work. And
Mhm.
if you're not doing something that you absolutely love, like, yeah, you'll have
Then
all
it's
the
more
money.
work.
You'll have all of the money, but it's more work because you're not doing something that you love. And at the end of the day, when you don't do something that you like to do, and like you're doing shit that you hate, and you're doing that for a third of your day, every day for 40 years, you're spending a third of 40 years,
Mhm.
which is 13 years and 4 months of doing something
Yeah.
that you don't like doing at all.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And like, think about that. 13 years. 13 years of doing something that you do not enjoy for the
and that's
sake
the
of
prime
money.
of your life too.
And like, I've seen it kind of pay off. Like my aunt, I wouldn't say that my aunt hated her job, but she worked her ass off. And she was
Wasn't
a
she
lawyer.
Yeah.
She worked her ass off, and she's even said, like, once she was done, it was worth it.
Mhm.
But you know, if you're down to wait 30 years, 40 years, all right. I'm not going to tell you to not do so.
Yeah.
Because you're deciding you want to wait 30 or 40 years. But if you want to be happy in those 30 or 40 years, do something you like. Even
Yeah.
if you're not making money.
100%. Yeah, I think money is comfort.
Because you can make money.
Mhm.
Like, you can make money with anything that you do, ever.
Yeah.
You can go on Instagram if you want. Go on Instagram, post about your shit.
Yeah.
It starts there.
Yeah, it is crazy that nowadays if you look online, like there's so many different things you can make money with. And that's why when people tell you like, "Oh, you have to go that route." And I look at them and I'm saying, "Yo, people are posting videos online with a camera that they have, sometimes even just their phone, and they're making a shit ton of money out of it. So why are you going to tell me to go down a path that's probably going to be outdated very shortly when there's going to be so many new jobs that pop up. Like, nobody really thought you could just take a camera and be
Yeah.
like, hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube
it's
channel.
ridiculous holding a camera in front of yourself and recording yourself and talking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, people wouldn't want to know what other people are doing during their days.
Yeah, okay.
And then we realized that social media is about looking at a whole bunch of people's lives.
yeah,
So
people are
if you
nosy.
take your phone and record it,
Mm-hmm.
and you really let people in on it, how you're living your life, it's like, oh shit, people are going to watch it.
Yeah.
People are going to make a lot of money because they're watching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it all comes back to money. People think it's just money,
It's
success.
It's all about money in a sense of a lot of the things that a lot of people would like to do that I think brings happiness and success, like traveling. Money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to
Yeah.
buy plane tickets, you need to do this, you need to do that.
And that creates happiness
And
because
the-
you get to go visit the
Exactly.
rest of the world and you don't have to look online for it. Like, for me, my goal at one time in my life, I definitely want to go to safari in Africa. And I know
Yeah.
it sucks because a lot of people get diseases and shit. I'm going to hopefully go at the time when they can counteract that disease with the medicine that we
I
have.
think we would be fine.
I think so, too.
And I think for the purposes that we'd be going for, because for the most part, if I'm going into the safari and I'm going to the Amazons, I'm tripping.
Yo, I definitely don't want to do that.
Oh,
And-
I do for sure, but not just like guided. For sure, guided rituals. I'm not going to the middle of the Amazons where I don't know where I am dropping 3.5 grams of mushrooms. I'll never get out. Ever.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to go, but yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, yo, happiness is things that you want to do. Like, you have so
Yeah.
many memories with friends. Like, for example, we're going to go to Favali's, I guess you could call it like a little birthday
Yeah.
thing, for the, what is that called? The escape room.
Yeah.
So we're going to go for the escape room, but to create those memories and that happiness, you need $30 to go.
Exactly.
And for some people, making $30 is like that. Snap of a
And
finger.
some people don't have jobs.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Some people don't have work. And
Yeah.
$30 is a crazy amount of money because you don't usually have $30.
Yeah, and that's why we chill so much. We just chill. At
Yeah,
my
because
house,
you don't
any other
need
house.
you don't need money to like have the important life-changing conversations. And that's what brings me happiness. Like talking
nice.
to people, like figuring out, like
Yeah.
asking the deep questions that people would normally say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that right now." Why not? What's the worst that can happen? You're gonna say it, and then you're gonna feel relieved that you said it instead of keeping it inside.
Or you say people have a fear of not saying it correctly and then
Yes.
going back and being like, "Damn it, I should have said that."
It doesn't matter about correctness. It's how you feel cannot be described with the English language because the English language is made up.
Yeah.
Our minds made it up and we thought it into an existence. And at the end of the day, like, a lot of people aren't happy because they believe what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, and they don't open up their
the-
ears and minds and
Yeah,
stuff like
and-
that. And especially, like, this is why I'm creating this podcast, because there's a lot of times where I literally just want to listen to a deep conversation. And I know that Joe Rogan has a lot of them,
Yeah.
but he also has a lot of conversations that are just completely
informational. They're-
informational, or it's just like
which
fuck
is
around type of
good,
shit.
but it's
Yeah.
also rough when you're looking for a specific thing
Yeah,
to
when you're
listen to.
looking for him to be like some type of motivation or something like that, or talk deeply about what success is and what brings you happiness with that success and what
Yeah.
success really isn't. And when you're craving that and you're on YouTube just scrolling through, you know, you don't always get that, and then you
And-
try different podcasts.
and I don't necessarily think it's the most efficient way to find it. You know, like, I think motivational videos are very good,
hmm
but like at the end of the day, you have to take action.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm
You
just
know,
saying like an
like-
example. Of
No,
like,
yeah, I got you. But
Mhm.
it's about taking action too.
So
'cause,
how
like-
do you get to happiness?
I just try to talk about the shit that I deal with on a daily basis as much as possible.
So
Because-
like what you go through every
Yeah,
single day.
'cause-
Like
because-
give an example.
So, like, I guess for like an example for school, like, I'll have classes, and then I'll have the things I have to do. Like I'll have all my classes, and then I have to go to the gym at some point. I'll do my homework. I'll read. But throughout all of that, I'm also dealing with the times where I don't speak. And like there are times where I'm just sitting and thinking, and some thoughts are crazy. Like crazy thoughts where like you don't know where they came from, and they're so crazy and twisted and weird. But like thoughts are thoughts.
So
like they can stay inside, you know, like when thoughts lead to bad actions, like David said that the other day. That's why I remember it. But like thoughts are thoughts, but if those thoughts lead to bad actions, like that's when it's not good. That's when you're really believing your thoughts, and you're just not going in the right direction.
So you're saying like sometimes you think of stuff that, you know, like your mind for some reason is going off the rails. It's like saying doing something bad. Like, I don't know, like say you walk into a store and for some reason you just want to push down a cabinet. I don't know.
Yeah,
just
like
a weird example.
just an example.
And you're saying like sometimes your thoughts, like your happiness comes from thoughts, but sometimes your thoughts become so crazy, and that's when you're like, oh, I need to cut it off.
Exactly, because the mind is a great tool. Like the mind is not you. Like you are the awareness behind your thinking, and behind your mind racing.
You think if we're just straight up souls, you think our thoughts come with us, or do you think we're just energy that goes into other things?
I think we're just energy, and it's weird because I think our thoughts are involuntary, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of both, because for example, you take breathing. You take breathing.
Yeah.
Like you can like when you're not thinking about it, you're breathing involuntarily, because if you don't breathe, you'll die.
Yeah.
But when you fucking breathe and control it, that's a voluntary breathing. That's taking involuntary action and making it voluntary by changing the pattern. And like
involuntary and voluntary stuff. It's crazy with your mind, because I'll just literally like go into the kitchen, open up the fridge, do what I have to do, and I don't think
you're just
all.
on it.
I'm just doing it. Like I make my smoothie, I'm like, all right, 1, 2, 3 scoops, and I'm like, oh shit, like I just did all that without even thinking. But I was thinking about other stuff while I was doing it. And it's just so strange, like,
and that has to also do with like physical memory too, because if you're doing that and you've been doing it so
muscle
long,
and mental memory together
is huge.
That's success.
Yeah, that's really huge.
So you think it's so crazy, because whenever we try to talk about success, like we go off on these tangents instead of just staying with success, but it's like you think
you
can't. There's no definition, because we said that in the beginning. Like there's no definition that is literally just success.
Yeah.
And when you think about, like, I think there's success in every single situation.
I agree.
Like this right here, so far, I mean, I don't know about other people's opinions. I think it's successful right now for this podcast.
I can almost argue that there's only success. I can almost argue it.
You think every time you fail, there's a successful thing in that failure?
When you fail, 99% of the time, the outcome is you being in the same exact spot, just with a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Tell me how anything is getting worse.
What do you mean, like me?
Like
personally?
Just in general, like.
Dude, are you actually asking?
I guess if you want to answer, but I feel
how is
that
anything getting? Honestly, with me trading stocks, like there has never been a day since I started trading stocks that even I learn a lot more when I lose on a trade.
Exactly.
I learn so much. You
really only learn. Not true. You learn from winning, but you learn a lot more from quote losing or quote failing. Because if you perceive it as failure and losing, like, all right, you're not going to feel good about yourself. And when you do the subtle thing, like the little things matter. If you're going through every day and you think you're failing certain things every day, you're making yourself feel like shit all the time.
100%. Yeah.
And like if you're just looking for the success and you're telling yourself that it's all good and you're being super positive, even when you don't feel it. Because like as much as I love being positive, like I don't feel it as much as I'd like to. No one ever does. But I think it's important that it's not really faking it until you make it. It's just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Making the idea of you being happy and you being successful and you loving stuff, putting it out there into the universe and saying it isn't. Why I forgot the word. What were we just saying?
Isn't gonna do it like you?
Right, it is gonna. I think
gonna
it will.
do it.
I don't think like putting that word out there is necessarily faking it.
Oh, you're
You
saying
know,
that
like,
like putting that energy out
It
there.
will. It recycles. It's all cycle. It will
Yeah.
come back to you. You put out that good energy, it will come back
Exactly.
to you.
Reduce,
Like,
reuse, recycle.
Wow. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Thank you.
And like I lost my phone in California.
That sucks.
I lost it 3 hours away from my brother's house and buried in sand.
Oh, the ATVs. That sucks.
Someone found it. They happened to live in LA and sent my phone back, and it works. It's cracked to shit. Not this one. It's at home. It's cracked to shit.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Front and back glass cracked. Horrible. Works like a charm.
That's awesome.
I like to think that me being positive is the reason why that happened. If
That's true.
if I was down on the fact that I lost my phone and I was bugging out and I thought that I would never get a phone again, I would have to buy a new gross phone instead of getting this one for free.
Yeah. No, there's so many situations out there that since I became a lot more positive in the way I think, that's really what it is.
Because
Like,
you just
when
see
you're
it
thinking-
more.
Yeah, when you're thinking positively and you're like, all right, you know, like if this is the worst thing that happens to me today, it's totally cool because I'm still living. There's nothing wrong with my body. It's just that I lost a piece of technology
Yeah.
that I can make money back and buy a new phone.
Get a new one.
Like I could have literally lost an arm with the ATV.
Literally.
And that would have been a lot worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They
So
call-
when you think of it that way, with like putting energy out there and stuff, it does really work. But you do have to
Yeah.
take action too. Like there are things where people are just like, I'm gonna put
And
it
it-
out that I'm gonna make a lot of money,
Yeah.
and then they're just like, all right, I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna it'll come. But I definitely think if you really believe that opportunities will arise in situations, like they will arise.
Yeah, for sure. I think the more you're just thinking positively, the more positivity you'll see.
Mm-hmm,
In general, like you're obviously not going to see the bright stuff if you're thinking about all of the dark stuff. It's just not going to happen. You're
Yeah.
putting your blinders on.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to be blinded by the light. I'm not trying to blind myself from it. You know? Like
wow.
I'd rather be overwhelmed with that than choosing to not deal with it at all. And like
Yeah.
people don't realize that like looking into the light is what they think looking into the dark is. Looking into all of their hardships and all the problems they never ever want to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't want constructive criticism.
It manifests. It
And-
will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten a lot better at like with trading again. Like I'm telling you, bro, trading has helped me significantly with my life.
Yeah,
because
just
I've always been that person where this is what I believe will make me successful, quote unquote successful with this stuff, is because I have the power in myself to do a terrible trade, lose like $15, and then watch YouTube videos for 2 hours straight correcting my mistakes.
yeah, not only that, I think you missing out on losing $15 and watching 2 hours worth of videos won't happen if
If I win.
if you win, but also even worse if you lose out on that if you lose 15
Mm-hmm.
and you beat yourself up for it.
Yeah, yo, that's
You can't beat yourself up
that's
for
the
shit.
thing.
Like,
Like,
because
people beat you up.
exactly.
mentally,
Yeah,
and
like deal with it. Like if you're gonna get it from someone, get it from out there. What people bash on you and make you feel like shit, and take it and tell them to go fuck themselves.
well, all right, I gotta
You
connect you
know?
with sports.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in sports, you like in baseball, you make one error, you are like the devil.
You feel like it for sure. You definitely feel like
And coaches kind of harp on you. They're like, "How do you miss that fly ball? It was right there. How didn't you catch
but
it?"
at the same time, not now. Like I guess when you're younger, it's crazy. When you're younger, that actually happens, and it's kind of not.
Well, I'm just
Good.
saying because like even if it's not that type of tone, they're like, "I don't get it. How couldn't you catch it?"
It's just
You're-
like I don't know.
You're
Like,
you're
it
11.
just happens.
You're 11. You don't have that mental capacity
Exactly.
to be like, "Oh, they're just being like, yo, come on, like you got this." You know
Yeah.
it. But in your mind, you're like, "Oh shit, coach is mad at me.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I might get benched." And then while you're out there in the game, now you're thinking like,
Yeah,
"All
you're
right, I can't
anxious.
mess up anymore. Like I gotta redeem myself." You got up at bat and you strike out.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the game, the rest of the day, you're just like,
Sucks.
"Fuck, man." And I think that really had a huge impact in me
Yeah.
growing up. Like,
Yeah, bro. Coaches. I think with me and coaches and playing baseball, like I've been pretty close with all my coaches
oh, that's good.
for the most part. Like I've always been one of the better kids on the team, which led to the inclination of me being
Yeah.
closer with my coaches.
Definitely.
But like the first 3 years, it was one of my good friends' dads, and then the next year it was another friend's dad, and it was just dads, and
That's,
like
Yeah.
sometimes I would get heated, and like because I wouldn't agree with things that they say, and they wouldn't agree with
Definitely,
things that I say, and it sucks because with sports, miscommunication can happen, and then like.
bro, yeah.
That happens in life even more so. And like
Mhm.
I see it just every day, honestly. Whether it's like whether I'm talking to someone and I'm not as clear with my words,
Mhm.
or if I overhear a conversation, then it breaks into a fight, and I already heard the miscommunication that led to that fight.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, it's rough. I try to be as clear and concise with my words as possible. Because of that, I want people to know what I mean, or try to know what I mean, so they have an understanding.
You know what? You know what I think success is? I think I'm still trying to figure this
No,
out.
of course.
I think it's all about improvement. I think that's my success.
Yeah,
Success-
I think it is for
like
everyone.
even if it's because happiness is just too broad of a spectrum.
Agreed.
But I think it's really just improving because, I was looking at the last question, which is the next one. What are your fears of reaching it?
Yeah.
It's me not improving.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing. Like, if you don't improve yourself every single day.
and it's
you're
being
gonna be
present.
that
Yeah,
same
it's
person.
being present.
Yeah, being present in that moment. 'Cause
And like,
knowing that, like, for me, even with teaching classes, like, I know, like, I'm good, but I'm not obviously as good
Yeah,
as
as
the
good
other
as
trainers
others.
because I just started a year ago. And when I have a class and I'm like, damn, like, I gotta know, like, that even if it wasn't it's not a terrible class, it's just a good class. It wasn't,
Yeah.
it was more than average. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but
you can do better.
I have yeah, definitely, but I have that in my head, like, all right, calm down, don't get anxiety over this. You're still very young in this. In 5 years from now, you're never really gonna be thinking about how bad your class is. You're just gonna get better and better.
Even like now, it's just like I don't worry about like as much as like I worry about the things I did yesterday.
I don't anymore.
I don't worry about the things I did yesterday because like what am I gonna do?
You can't.
Go back? It's like you just can't. You can't do
Can't do
anything,
anything
about
about it.
what happened yesterday.
Not at all.
And like it sucks because a lot of people don't understand that they can change and they have the power to do it.
Hmm.
Like when you really think about it, if you just sit there and you're relaxing and you think to yourself, hey, and I think this is from Alan Watts, you have no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago. Literally. You have no obligation to be the person you were 5 minutes ago.
You don't.
You have no obligation.
You could change.
No one is telling you that you have to be the person that you are. No one's telling you to change, but no one's telling you to be the same either. And
Yeah.
like, I think a lot of people hate the criticism, and they're like, "Oh, why do people want me to change? What's
It's
this?
really
What's
labels.
that?" It's the other way around, you know. Like it is like, "Oh yeah, a lot have to do with labels."
Yeah, because
labeling
people
with
are like, "Oh, I'm gonna label this person like
yeah,
if that person was funny, they're the funny guy.
yeah."
Now they're the funny guy. If they're not funny anymore, they're gonna be like, "What happened, bro? You're the funny
you
guy.
weren't funny.
Now you're not funny." And like, I think the labels really fuck you up psychologically.
Yeah, the labels fuck you up because like, even for me, like senior year, like before senior year, I was pretty much a completely different person, and you know
You
that.
were,
Like,
yeah.
You know that, but like once I started smoking weed, this literally went from junior year going into senior year. That summer, I started smoking. I went into class high a few times. I became the weed man. And like, I've been smoking weed for 3 months. I know people in that class that's been smoking weed for 2 years. I'm the weed man. I'm the weed man because David's the weed man, and because Ben's the weed man. Like,
No, it's a trickle down effect.
I'm the brothers of the weed men. Like that's really what it is. I know my pot for sure, but I'm not the encyclopedia of weed.
Yeah.
Nor do I know everything because I smoked pot for 3 months, and now at this point, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it's so weird, right? Like, it's just reinventing yourself is such a strange thing because when you go to college, like I'm sure you went through this too.
Yeah, bro.
You reinvented yourself and you brought some of that back.
Exactly.
And you know, like you notice the changes. Like people are always like, "Oh, you change so much when you go to college." Yeah, of course. Because
you change as a person, and you meet
different
people.
So you're like, "Oh, I'm not the weed man here. I can be just a normal human being."
Even at school, I'm the weed man, though. But I'm not. I became the weed man because I was just so excited about talking about why weed was good. Like whenever like weed could have fit into the conversation, I brought it up because I thought, hey, like weed's good. Like, all right, smoking weed. All right, like smoking anything.
But it's like anything else. If it's on your mind, you're gonna talk
and like,
about it.
And like when it's on my mind, I'm gonna talk about it. And when I feel like I can hit people and educate people and make people think, I'll
But
say it.
that's what you were saying before. Your happiness comes from
Like
thinking
I
and
want
speaking.
I want people to think. I want people to hear my words. I want to hear other people's words. I want to hear how people articulate how they speak and what they want to get across.
Perspective.
Like some people who speak and are thinking about other things at the same time. They're not even in the conversation. Like I can tell when people aren't in the conversation. They're looking around, fucking slight nods, saying something, but then going somewhere else, just thinking about different shit.
Yeah,
like my eyes wander in conversation. I'm trying to get better with my eye contact, but I'm listening to anyone that's talking.
Yeah,
and that's just the truth.
I gotta become a better listener.
I just try to. I used to listen and like I used to listen to respond a lot. Like sometimes I tend to do that still. I'll be in a conversation and I'll listen, but then I'll respond right away.
Well, my thing is, I listen, but when I get a thought,
you're
like,
thinking about that
I'm
thought and you
thinking about
want to
that
say
thought,
it,
and I can't. Like even with this, I'm sure I could go back and have like 10 examples of me trying to jump in and figure out like it. Conversation's an art. It's so crazy to say. And trying to jump in with that thought when you're done with your thought is really hard. And especially when you keep talking, you're like, oh, that's a cool thought that I want to say. And then like 20 seconds later, like,
you're on a different thing.
Like, I don't even remember that thought. And then you want to bring it up.
Thoughts come and go. It's all going back to the voluntary, involuntary thing. Thoughts literally come and go. You think of something, you're on it. 10 seconds later, you don't even remember the thought.
Yeah.
If you hold on to those thoughts, you'll be fucked. And that thought of that very cool thought that you didn't remember 10 seconds ago, that thought is the same as thinking that you don't look good or thinking that you're fat. That is coming from the same place.
Mm-hmm. So
If you decide to believe that thought and identify with it,
yeah.
you're beat. But even though that thought is coming from the same place as that really cool thought,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's gone.
Yeah, so you're saying that basically, like, it's a good thing that our thoughts are going in and out, because if you just hold on to thoughts all the time, that's basically when your anxiety kicks in and you're like,
That
oh,
is
man.
anxiety.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, I'm fat.
Because like,
And then if that thought never goes away, you're just like, oh man, I'm fat. And like, it's always bad thoughts that just keep coming back.
Agreed.
Because, you know, your brain is just like, these are the things we need to improve.
yeah,
But you're not looking at it as, oh, I need to improve. It's just like, oh, these are things that I got to deal with.
Yeah.
instead. Yeah, it sucks. All right, I'm on 7% with this laptop. And It's
Okay.
probably going to die at any second.
all right.
All right, let's get a fact, because I do a fact in the beginning. Oh, wait, let's go. I just want to say, like, we talked about a lot, but I think we actually figured out, me personally, I think I figured out what success is for me. I don't know about you, but I think success is just improving daily. How do I think I'll achieve it? Obviously, just keep improving and stay calm.
I agree. It's about improving, and it's about sticking to routines you want to keep and slowly trying to get those bad habits out.
Yeah.
You don't need to stop eating junk food and get into the gym and sit outside a little longer all at the same time.
No, yeah, you can do
Start
it very small.
start with sitting outside for a little bit. It's probably the best one of the three, honestly. Getting outside will make you want to do good things. Oh, you instead of that chocolate bar, substitute it for fucking apple or just anything.
Yeah, it is very
You know,
strange
it
because
goes-
people, you see that all the time. People are like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, and they're there for like an hour and a half, and then 3 months later, like, oh, how's the gym going? They're like, I don't even go anymore.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not,
come
and
on,
like,
bro.
I don't think the hour and a half gym thing is good. I mean, it depends. I think that the gym can be almost a safe haven for people. I think it can be a place where people can relieve stress,
Definitely.
and I think it's important to do so. You know,
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to hear this fact?
I
to
do.
end it off?
I do.
It's actually a pretty good one. It is predicted that the reason why night insects such as moths are attracted to lights is because they mistake them for the light of the moon, which they used to navigate the earth before mankind made artificial lights.
Wow,
Yeah,
that
so
is kind of crazy.
we're calling these bugs stupid, but actually they're really smart for using the moon to be able to travel around the earth.
Yeah, I think all animals are smart, and I think
They're
I
so
think
smart.
I think a lot of animals have the capabilities that we do. We were just given the golden thumbs.
The gold. Yeah,
We were given the
exactly.
golden thumbs, and we fast tracked that shit real quick.
Yeah, tools, baby. That's it. All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
I appreciate being on. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Good luck with your success.
Thanks. You too, Carlos.